Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana and I am a guide to life. I help guide people through emotional processes and to better understand themselves. And I'd like to talk a little bit about overcoming insecurities and becoming confident. And in order to overcome insecurities, first and foremost, we have to understand how they were formed and how those processes or how that programming is running within ourselves, because it is very elusive. So our insecurities are based on subconscious beliefs that we are unaware of, that are playing beneath the surface from our subconscious and creating our perspective and how we see ourselves in relevance to the rest of the world. And it is always coming from a place of feeling less than, feeling unworthy, feeling that we are lower than and that everybody else has it figured out. So we're coming into the world from a place of being, first of all, a victim, even if the insecurity, because insecurities create behaviors. And sometimes they create behaviors that can be dominating or can seem powerful, or they can create behaviors of weakness and being a victim, always being the underdog, always feeling like you're less than. And no matter how you look at it, these are, even if you're acting this way or you're acting this way, it is all coming from the same source, which is a feeling underneath the surface of unworthiness. And that unworthiness is, first of all, it's out of sync with the universe because we are all worthy. We just the fact that you exist, you are worthy. Just the fact that you were born into the world and you have a soul within this body, you are as ancient as the earth itself. Every cell in your body has been here from the beginning of infinite of time. You are as ancient as this world, and everything that is in your body is going to be going back into creation and will last of infinity. It's not going anywhere. So everything that you are made of has been here forever and ever and ever and ever and will be forever and ever and ever and ever. So just in the fact that you are of creation and that you are in existence is evidence in itself that you are worthy and that you are worthy of this life. Just the fact that you were born and that you are in existence is a miracle in itself, and that miracle alone is proof of your worthiness. The unworthiness that we feel is an illusion. It's something that we were taught into. It's programming that was instilled within us, whether instilled within us purposefully by adults as we were children, or by situations that we were in, or the way that we perceived the world and it seemed like everybody else had it figured out, but we don't know. Or it's always something that was created, some kind of programming that was created within us when we were young children. And as we we had this inner base feeling that we are unworthy, we are less than others, we don't know as well as others know. Everybody else has it figured out, but we don't. There's no place for us in the world. All of these things are created in early childhood, and we're not even aware that that is the programming that is running within us. I'm going to pause this for a second. Give me a sec. And so these underlying beliefs are creating a perspective, a life perspective that we are acting out, and we're unaware of it. It is completely elusive to us, and we create behaviors according to that feeling of I am less than, I am in lack. And we tell the world how to treat us. So if we're going out into the world feeling that we're less than, then that is what we're going to be vibing out. And because we are vibing out that we are unworthy, people will, when we meet people or situations in the world, it we come in as from this place of under, then that is how the world perceives us. Oh, they're unworthy. Okay, wait a minute. Let me question whether I can trust this person, if this person is worthy. And so we are creating this cycle of unworthiness. So then we're going out in this feeling that we're unworthy, we're acting unworthy, therefore we're getting back the reflection from the world and from others that we aren't worthy, and we are creating this cycle that is reinforcing itself. And when we have this feeling of unworthiness and we go out into the world, we behave and we're not in full expression of ourselves. We are closed. We are in this state of lack. We are in this state where we're afraid to speak. We're afraid. Not only are we afraid to speak, and many times we'll get into situations where we can't speak, where we just have mind freeze. Or if we do say something, because we're in that state of feeling unworthy, then for some reason things will be flying out of our mouths that we didn't have intention for, and then we'll be replaying it again and again and again and beating our own selves up over whatever the situation was. And so first of all, understanding that you are worthy, even if you only understand it in your mind at first. Sometimes we have to understand things in our mind, and then slowly they'll start sinking into this inner knowing. So first, in your mind, know that you are worthy. So if you come into a situation where you're feeling less than, know in your mind that you are worthy, and slowly that will become your new belief. So we have to, when we are in this situation, many times it's very difficult to find where it is working in us. But what we can do is put in a new program. We can reprogram our minds. There's so many ways, different ways to come at this. But one of the ways is to reprogram our minds. Start telling ourselves a different story. Start purposefully getting up in the morning, looking in the mirror and saying, you are gorgeous, you are worthy, and you are perfect just the way that you are. Even if in the beginning it's going to feel, because you have a program running underneath the surface that has been running for so long of unworthiness, I'm not worthy, feeling lack, feeling less than. In the beginning, when you begin to try to reprogram your mind, you're not going to believe it. It's going to feel superficial. It's going to feel fakey. And there comes in that old saying, fake it till you make it. Because a lot of times you only have to fake it a couple times till you realize that it really is true and that we are creating our own realities. So if I say it's true, then it's true for me, right? Because whatever you believe to be true is true for you. So if you believe that you are in lack, then that will be your reality. That'll be your truth. And if you believe that you have abundance, regardless of outside circumstances, then that will be a reality, and that will be whatever you believe to be true is true. It's true in your reality. And you can look at abundance, everything is relative. So even if you are in a perceived, let's say you're living in the States and you're perceived as middle class, what you have is so much abundance compared to somebody that's living off in some third world country that don't have food to eat. So they would see you as rich. So everything is relevant. It depends on how you perceive it to be. Because there is so much abundance nowadays, especially if you live in a modern country. We are in the age of mass production. There is more stuff for each individual than there could ever be use for. The things that used to be very difficult to obtain, let's say even clothes, each and every one of us has a closet full of clothes, when 2,000 years ago people had maybe two or three sets of clothes, because clothes were so difficult to manufacture. And now we're living in the age of manufacturing. There is more than now is the time of, I wouldn't even call it abundance. I would call it waste. I would call it gluttony. There's way too much way too much, that people are throwing away things that are still useful because there's so much coming at you all the time. I just had this realization the other day that, things that I used to not throw away, try to pass it on to somebody, let's say pots and pans, but now there are more pots and pans in the world than can be used, and therefore they become useless. Therefore, they become of non-value. They're devaluating almost everything that we have. That's also why artists are getting tossed to the side of society, because there's mass production. There's no place for artistry, real, true artistry. As they sit down and make a masterpiece of something that takes months to make with perfect precision, it's going to be very difficult to find a buyer, because now everything is so mass produced, and there's things of intricate detail that are just available to the masses. So there really is, I'm not going to say no, but there's less appreciation or less room in the world for mastery of anything, really, of mastery. That's not an absolute truth, because now my mind is running in so many different directions where that is not true, but there is truth in it in different areas of the world. So everything taken proportion. There is no absolute, really, except for God. So there's so many ways to come at the feeling insecure. First of all, knowing that you were programmed into it and that it's an illusion. It's not true. You are worthy, and each and every one of us is individual and different, and comes into the world with different talents and different capabilities and purpose and a place in the world. Just the fact that you are, there is space for you in the room, in the world, and you are worthy, and trying to find, you have to become completely aware of your emotions, because if you are feeling insecure in the world, you're going to be triggered. Every time you get into a situation where you start feeling a little bit insecure, you're going to feel emotionally this trigger that comes up. There's going to be something that comes up that makes you. So start analyzing, why am I feeling this? What am I feeling? When was the first time in my childhood that I felt this same feeling? It doesn't have to be the first time. It's not like you have to sit and start going back in your mind and say, okay, when was the absolute first time? Whatever comes up from your childhood is good enough. It's a representation of that emotion when you were a child, and you can do work with it, because then you can look back at that child in that situation, and you can have compassion for that child, because now you are an adult and you have that much of a gap in time and that much of a difference. And now as an adult, you can cope with that situation because of life experience in between then and now. And you can look back at that child and see how that belief was created, and look at the situation and see that little girl or that little boy in that situation, and see that it was of no fault of theirs. And if that was your child, or if that was any child, would you blame that child? Would you have compassion for that child and hug that child? And you can see how much change that makes in your life, because when you look back at what created those insecurities, and so this child was in the situation of no fault of their own, or even if there was fault in it, they were a child, so there really is no fault in it, right? When you're a child, you don't have the life experience that you have as an adult. And so when you can forgive that child and see how that situation created this insecurity that has spread throughout your entire life, that has created what you believe about yourself, and you let yourself off the hook there, many times it will release so much within you. You'll start saying, wait a minute, I'm feeling insecure because of that. That's what made me feel inferior or less than, or it created this self complex for the rest of my life. And you let yourself off the hook. And also when you realize that everybody else in the world Most people are also dealing with feelings of inadequacy, feeling less than, insecurities. All, I want to say, up in the 90s percentile of people are going through the world and feeling like they are less than in different areas, and feeling insecure. Even if they're putting on a face that they're feeling secure, they do have their own insecurities. And when you start building your own confidence, you will begin to see this. You will begin to see this in all of the different people, and it will wake you up. It'll make you see things completely different, because you'll see that everybody is struggling in their own inner turmoil. And it'll make you, instead of feeling less than and, oh no, what are they going to think of me? It'll turn that around to where, how can I create ease in this other person's life, and allow them to feel accepted, so that they don't have to have that agony of insecurity and shyness, and not expressing themselves openly. And I am speaking from experience, from my own personal experience in this, and the my own personal healing that I have gone through and understand it. Because these processes that I speak about are processes that I have applied within myself, that I have gone through within myself, and systematically broke those behaviors and created new thought patterns, and created new ways of thinking and new ways of perceiving. So whenever you feel triggered, or whenever you feel one of those emotions coming up, it is a good thing, because that is an opportunity to go in deep and feel and understand what is causing this. So when you have a trigger, first of all, you have to become aware. You have to become present. Okay, what am I feeling? You have to allow room for those emotions, because what we do most of our life is we don't want to feel those uncomfortable emotions. So we get into a space of an uncomfortable emotion. Either we avoid that from the get-go, so that we don't have to go into a situation and feel those insecurities and the less than. So we just close ourselves off and either stay at home or don't go into situations, social situations, or we're avoidant. And what we want to do is open up our lives so that we can be an expression, so that we can live life to the fullest, so that we can accomplish things, so that we can experience things. And so whenever we go into a situation, we feel that, first of all, we have to become aware, and we have to allow ourselves to actually feel it. And because our emotions are our guidance system, they are going to tell us yes and no. But we have to go in and repair our guidance system, right? Because a lot of times, because of our programming, our emotions are off. Our emotions are signaling us things that are not correct, right? So if we are feeling insecure and we come into a situation where we're completely safe, and people love us, and we have the perspective that nobody will like us. If they really see me, they won't like me. If I show myself, they won't like. Why wouldn't they like you? That was a process I did with myself. I found one of those emotions when I came into a situation that, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why am I closing? Because I feel unworthy. And because I feel unworthy, I feel like if somebody really truly sees me, they're not going to like me. And then I started thinking about, why wouldn't they like me? If they really truly saw me and knew that every single thing that I do, or I was extremely overweight. I was obese, even morbid obese. And I was afraid of judgment. And I realized that there is a reason why I am like this. If somebody took the time to really get to know me and to know why I am like this, they wouldn't judge me. They would have compassion for me, and they would have understanding for me. They would understand. And so if somebody is judging me, then they're not my cup of tea anyway. If somebody is judging me, it's because they don't have the capability to open up the lid and look inside. And those aren't people that I need their opinion about me anyway, because they're not taking the time. And anyway, anybody else's judgment is about how they perceive the world, not about me. It's how they perceive the world through their own conditioning and how they were raised and what they think is right and wrong. It has nothing to do with me. So their opinion of me doesn't matter anyway. And in my world, they are all actors in my world for me to get feedback on for my own self-healing, right? Because everybody around us are opportunities for me to get reflection, and they are in relevance to me in my life. And I'm not I'm not, and for them, I'm relevant to them. So it makes no difference their opinion of me. The only opinion that matters is my opinion of me. And if they were to take the time to really get to know me, I realized that they would understand. They would understand how it was that I got to this situation. They would see me and they would have nothing but compassion and love for me. There's nothing wrong with me. So if somebody really truly saw me, they would understand. And then I realized that there's no reason why people wouldn't like me except for reasons of their own, and that has nothing to do with me. And that let me off the hook in so many different ways. And so I went into this situation or into many situations, and when I start having that trigger of feeling insecure, I become very, very aware and listen to the emotion. First of all, allow that emotion, because what happens is we go through life and we try to push those emotions down, and we're pushing them down and we're pushing them down, we're pushing them down. What happens during the spiritual awakening is that we cannot push those down anymore, and everything starts busting out because it cannot be repressed. Is that a word? Where you push it down and push it down until it wants to explode out of you. And it will come out of you, whether it comes out emotionally or whether it comes out in being obese, or comes out in all sorts of addictions and habits, or to relieve the pain of distress, or in sickness. Because if we are repressing, if we are not feeling those emotions, it's like a ticking time bomb within ourselves that you push down and push down and push down until you can't push down anymore, and you're constantly like that, holding. And when we allow space for those emotions, first of all, our capacity to feel grows, and second of all, we quit being afraid of our own selves, of our own emotions, because once the emotion comes up and we look at it, we say, okay, wait a minute, why am I feeling this? Where is this sitting? What is the reason? Oh, the reason is because I'm afraid that they're going to see me. But wait a minute, why am I afraid they're going to see me? Oh, because they may not like me. Why wouldn't they like me? And you start breaking it down, or you take it to your childhood. You say, okay, when was the first time I felt this? Go back into your childhood. Oh, I remember a time when I was really little that I felt this. Why did I feel this then? You look at the situation, you look at that child in that situation, and you fix that situation, and you will see that it starts spreading through your life. Because when you are off in some place in your life, it is like a tree. It branches out. And if you are insecure, it's going to create insecurity, and it's going to create behaviors that create what's the word? Like branches in every aspect of your life. It is going to affect every single aspect of your life. It's going to affect your relationships. It's going to affect your workplace. It's going to affect your home life. It's going to affect every single, especially how you feel, which is the most important, because the quality of your life is dependent on how you feel, right? If you look back at your childhood and you had more difficult times than you had good times, in a scale, right? You had more difficult times. When you look back at your childhood, you're going to see your childhood as a not happy time. Whereas even if you had really bad moments in your childhood, but most of the moments that you had were fun, you're going to look back and perceive your childhood as happy. So it's the same thing throughout life. And so when you purify yourself, when you fix those emotions, and you start fixing the core, first of all, it's recognizing it, realizing it, becoming aware. Start retraining your mind to believe other things. You look in the mirror every morning and say, I love you. You are beautiful. It may feel really false in the beginning, even yucky and like, ugh, but nobody else sees you. And you are the only person that can reprogram you are the best person to reprogram your mind, because you are always with you, and your quality of your life is the most important, first and foremost, for you. And so if you can reprogram your mind to believe something different, first of all, you're going to have to come out of your comfort zone. You can't stay the same in the same habits and create change in your life. So, and in order to change habits or to change beliefs, you have to come out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is already the way that you think and the way that you are. So if you want any kind of change, you're going to have to start pulling your own self out of your comfort zone. Start going, expanding out of the norm. And it could be as simple as looking in the mirror in the morning and telling yourself that you love you, or telling yourself even if it's starting with something little. Yeah, I'm capable. I can do this. I am worthy of it. I am okay. I am safe. Meditation super helps. I can't express this enough. I've said it in so many videos. Meditate 20 minutes a day. If you don't have 20 minutes a day to meditate, then you need to meditate an hour a day. Meditation that calms everything down. It calms your nervous system down. Breathing. Breathe. Learn to inhale, one exhale. Just breathe. Fill your lungs, because you'll start seeing when you're tense, your whole body tenses up, and then you start breathing really shallow. Open up your lungs. Breathe. It relaxes you. Ground yourself. Get into nature. Start telling yourself a different story. Watch your words, especially the words that you say about yourself, words that make you feel good. Don't tell yourself stories like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. If you tell yourself, I can't do that, you're never going to be able to do that. Whatever it is. If you say, I can't, you stopped it before it started. You won't even try. If you say, I'm capable of doing that, but I choose not to because of this or this or that, because I believe that whatever, then you open up the option for yourself. So choose your words smartly. When you speak, this is the voice that you trust the most, because it is your own voice, and it is the voice that you hear most, more than any other voice. When you speak, it comes out of your mouth and right back into your ears and into your brain. So if you're saying bad things about yourself straight into your own ears, you're reprogramming your mind, and you're creating this cycle. So start speaking good about yourself. Start saying good things. Choose your words wisely. I could just keep on going and going and going on this subject. I see it's already getting long. I will do future, without promises, but I will, this is definitely a subject that needs to be spoken about. And because it completely changes the quality of your life. When the difference between being self-confident and insecure, it's the two sides of the spectrum. And when you can be self-confident in yourself, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you have to. It just means that you, even if you make mistakes, you're willing to stand up and take responsibility for them. And you can be perfectly confident even while you are doing the work, even while you still have things that are unsettled. And it makes such a difference in your life, and you're worthy of it. You're worthy of it. Believe it, know it. So I am sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. If you would like to schedule a session with me one-on-one, my contact information is in my website, and then we can kind of look and do personalized work in whatever it is that you are struggling with. So I am sending you so much love. Thank you for being here.